Hi everyone. So today we're going to talk about our AI that we built in our company in Timvero that is helping our clients develop promptly, more efficiently on our building platform, on the timveroOS building platform. So let me just quickly recap what's the building platform and what's timveroOS are. So timveroOS is a loan management solution. This loan management process consists of both origination piece and servicing piece and even analytics piece that can go either with servicing or with origination or with both of them. But compared to different other players in the market, we also provide access to our building platform. A building platform, this is it's basically the framework that we've built, and this framework is more of our products than just a regular application. So compared to different SaaS products, that is already assembled applications with the rigid architecture, our solution is allowing our clients to basically customize the entire architecture using the primitives that we have inside our framework. I'm going to talk about them just in a minute. You can see them on the screen right now. And by reconfiguring, recustomizing, and reshuffling these building blocks, our clients are able to get to the bespoke level of their lending automations for the cost and for the speed of the regular SaaS product. So let's talk quickly on the building blocks. So first of all, on zero level, we do have a few blocks related to the security, role-based access, multi-factor authentication, users, roles, all of this is the basic. So this is one of the modules that is being up and run with the application and with the building platform from scratch. The same as the audit trial. So the full compliance in terms of who did what, when, how. All of this is also the very basic function of the building platform and eventually timveroOS. Then we go to the next two layers that is actually starting to composing the business logic of our clients. Entity foundation, this is basically the main subjects and objects of the lending business. Think about participants as the main subjects, as the main actors of the lending business. So it can be borrower, it can be co-borrower, it can be guarantor, like it can be even combination of these. Like let's say in commercial lending, the borrower can be a company, and you can also have a few other participants like the CEO, ultimate beneficiary owner, as a related participants to this main participant like the borrower. Then our system also allows to build different types of assets. That is actually the objects. It can be different types of collateral. It can be invoices. It can be whatever this business may use as an asset to lend against or use as a collateral. Then we can also allow with this layer to have different types of the containers where these participants and assets they're getting through their flows, and that is actually the business for the specific bank. So it can be applications, it can be different marketing campaigns for the pre-approved applications, it can be actually credit or loan. So it can be different types of the containers where these subjects and objects are moving throughout the business flow, throughout the business process. Our solution allows for customization of the data model of any of these entities. So with our tools, with the tools of our platform, our clients are able to customize the data model of the participants. So depending on their needs, depending on who is their borrowers, businesses, consumers, they can customize the actual data model that they need to have. And the same applicable for assets, and of course, the same applicable for the containers. So this is the basis. This is basically the first layer of the business logic, like who you work with, which types of assets you as a client can take as the collateral or as asset to lend against. Then we also provide a few very sophisticated tools to handle not even the state machine. State machine, this is more like the rendered version of state machine, right? We are providing the state machine builder. So we actually provide to our clients the primitives, the tools on how to build the manual actions and actual automatic events. Automatic events are handled by entity checkers and entity listeners. And by having the ability to create these necessarily set of custom events and custom actions, of course, we do provide a bunch of the different pre-built actions or events, actions like approve, decline, edit, so on and so forth, and events such as do the transition from one status to another status. Still, it provides a lot of flexibility in order to add these actions and events on the participants, on assets, on containers at the same time. So eventually, it provides the freedom to our clients to have a lot of paralleled or conditionally associated, conditionally connected statuses and states in our system. That is actually fixing one of the biggest pain points in the industry. That is, if you have something powered, like processes powered by BPMN, if your processes will be sophisticated enough, these BPM engine will basically become like the bunch of the different spaghettis, connected, reconnected, and it's going to be extremely difficult to maintain. So our system handles this because these events and actions, they operate more on the state level. So basically, if participants does have the state, does locate in the state that is described in the specific conditions, some actions are available and some events can be triggered in the state. So it makes the parallelization and the building of the very sophisticated process way more straightforward and way more simpler to be maintained. Plus, of course, this provides way more flexibility and way more customization capabilities to our clients. And on top of this state machine builder, actions and events, we do have the actual state that is eventually will be connected to states and labels into the CRM layer or into the API. So it provides the visibility of what's going on with the specific applications, with the specific loans, with specific participants within them. Provides the visual representation of the current state of the containers and subjects and objects. And then we have the third layer. Just forgot about one thing, that these actions events, they also can be triggered by not in automations and like triggers in the case of the events, but they also can be triggered specifically actions with the manual inputs of the forms and different inputs. So it also provides the tools to connect different forms to the specific actions or vice versa. Then we're moving to the third layer that is actually using different components such as services, microservices, classes, subgroup classes. It's composing the set of our services modules and eventually the integrations. We have module for the create service framework. So how to create the loan, how to manage different accounts, liabilities and obligation accounts, how to manage the payments calculations. So basically the entire servicing process. We also have the payment hub module that is in charge of both disbursements and incoming payments and the integration with the different payment layers, such as credit card network, such as ACH, such as core banking solutions. Product engine. This is that product templating that is in charge of the product itself and also the connectivity to the pricing module. Documents with the OCR, with the templates, with the e-signature, notifications, history as an abstract class that can be added to any kind of entity. Covenants module and the workflow. Despite the fact that we have a state machine being built in the with the capabilities of the framework, actions and events, within the specific states, if you need this, one of the automations that can be connected could be the workflow. So the workflow is the visual design system, visual design algorithm, like modular, where our clients can implement some algorithms like the automations, like the underwriting algorithms, QAC algorithms. So it's up to them what to implement inside this workflow in order to have the flexibility of the decisions that can be made. So think about this as within the state machine and actions and events, you have the trusted layer. So you have the very basic and the business process, the business flow that is changing not a lot, and where you do need to have a lot of stability. You don't want this flow and this layer to be disrupted by, let's say, someone just forgot to add one field into the workflow. And within the states, like, let's say, status of in underwriting or in QAC, where you do need a lot of flexibility and you wanted to change these algorithms on the fly, you just connect the workflow, and then the workflow will execute all of the flexible algorithms workflow. Just quickly show to you how it works. So it is. Yeah, so this is the workflow, and with this workflow, let me find something. Yeah, like within this workflow, we can build our clients can build such an algorithms using different data sources. And yeah, within the specific state, as I said, let's say in underwriting, the system will go and execute this algorithm. So yeah, this provides the flexibility between the trust, the stability, and the flexibility. And we also do provide a few module services for the CRM, for the operations, such as CRM, this visual status and labels representation, APIs for the for applications, for applying for a loan, for checking your current debt. So basically for everything that you need, you can connect an API to any view, to any action, and to most of the triggers, to the events. And the BI and analytics also integrated into the set of the modules that you composed. So yeah, that's what our building platform consists from. And yeah, compared to SaaS, just a few keywords in order we will go to the main topic of this video. Traditional SaaS that is 100% customizable within the fixed application, and that is actually the fixed application themselves. They provide a bunch of the great tools on the, like, out of the box. That is working good for quite a few clients, but unfortunately, if your business goes outside of the standard processes, or you wanted to launch something niche, you wanted to try something new, your business is also very competitive, and you need to compete with a lot of folks in the industry, and you do need to have this nicheness. Unfortunately, most of the rigid applications is just not built in the way to enable you this, based on their business model, based on their architecture. So we can have another video on this, but yeah, that's just mostly the case. We do provide way more flexibility on implementing the custom data model, as I said, custom actors, subjects, objects, custom products, custom pricing, custom business flow, workflow where you need it, custom servicing, different operations, custom accounting, so a bunch of the different stuff. It also bears the challenge, like the challenge that we're gonna address with the AI in this video, that is, you do need to customize all of this. You, like our clients, do need to set this up. That's not a problem primarily for any of our clients as for right now. If we take like success, like the launch of the product in the three distinct working scopes that need to be done, the first one gonna be the analytics, like within the bank, within the client's financial institution, to understand what they wanted to build. And this is something that only they can decide. Then they also have to formalize these requirements to the development team. And then the development team may take our framework and basically customize it in a way to allow this automation and then to test it. So analysis, development, and quality assurance process. Right now, the average up and run on our building platform takes about 1 to 2 months for the entire scope. So that's including the analysis process, that's including understanding what our system can do, how actually building this, and then going live with this, and then also testing all of these. We do have a goal to short up this process 10 times. And we put this goal at the middle of last year. And of course, we started to think how to do this. And we found out a few things. So thing number one is that in order to provide the requirements to the development team in a correct way, business analysts should basically describe what they need to be built in the terms and into the languages of our building platform. That's challenge number one. Challenge number two is developers, of course, have to go understand how this primitives works and implement all of them. That is challenge number two. Also working relatively close in the collaboration with the business analyst to understand that what they actually has been implemented is something that the business needs. And then, of course, move all of this into the quality assurance process. So we started to understand that the platform provides like a lot of benefits, and of course you can you can build 100% custom processes without any edge cases. You can get the completeness, but also what's going to be great if we will be able to address the cost of the building on it, so we can drive them down. And of course, one of the first ideas that we had was to implement an AI that will help. First of all, business leaders, product owners, business analysts, engineers, to formalize the requirements that they have in their minds in the correct language, in the language of the building platform. Then, of course, to build this with these building blocks faster, and to test it also faster, to automate some part of the testing process. And yeah, after the 19 minutes of the introduction, we finally get into the point. So just a few weeks ago, we launched what we describe as our timveroAI plugin for the Cloud Code. And this plugin consists of a bunch of the different skills, a lot of different guardrails, a lot of different factual databases with the information of best practices, documentation, how to use all of this building platform. So that is like huge knowledge base. That is consists of the skills that you can see right now here on my screen. This plugin powers all of the things that I just mentioned. Like it powers the analysis process, so it can be used by, as I said, analytics or engineers or product owners in order to formalize the requirements. That's what you see in the first point, are requirements. Also, Pumpkin apps can be used for this, for more smaller features, organic development. Then it also helps to understand the current state of the system. So sometimes it's also relatively difficult for the business leaders to keep in mind all of the processes, all of the features that already has been implemented. And this plugin is also managing all of these. So it provides the understanding of in the form of the AI docs and in the form of of the different docs inside it, and understanding of what's the current process being implemented, what's the subjects, objects, which modules are already connected, and in how they customized. And so it helps to formalize the requirements, brainstorm, helps to discuss how to add some small features. And then it also hand over all of these requirements into the skills and part of the plugins related to actual implementation. So this plugin takes this formalized requirement, the correct language, launch the Pumpkin implement skill, and this skill takes this requirement, understands the current state of the system, understands what should be done, perhaps asks some questions. Yes, this plugin, by the way, is also asking a lot of questions. Just as a good product owner, all the time he asks why. And then eventually this development skill taking these requirements and implementing them with the building blocks in the correct way. And eventually also test them, run the quality assurance, and hand over this feature to the acceptance of the product owner. So we test this feature internally and also with two of our clients. And what we found out is that, it's really does speed up the development process something like 10x. And I'm going to be more than happy to show you how it can be and how it's done, how it works, and why it does this. So we have our basic application up and run on the local machine. So we have some applications right there. We have a very basic form. We also have just a few statuses and just a few actions like approve, decline. In the case of this application, it has been already approved. And if, let's say, you'll need to add some new states, some new actions to the business flow, you can just ask. This AI to do this. Let's assume we're gonna add something after the initial approval. So right now, I think the process is we have a new client. We complete this application, and when we click approve, I think the application moves to the approved status. So we can try to do something like, let's just add another final approval actions of final declining actions after this state. So let's compose the very short requirements in a very non-structured form. let's do this task a little bit more difficult for it. Right now, you can see that on the approved participant and on the related to this participant container, that is application, we don't have any actions. So let's also add an action void to the application, so it doesn't matter. So it won't put me a matter in which specific status the borrower is currently staying at. So the void status will be just canceling the entire application. Okay, so you can see that our plugin just launched the brainstorming skill, and it's gonna go and review what's the current situation, what is the current state of the entire system, which actions do we have, what's the sequence of them, what is the conditions, what is preconditions to all of them. So it's gonna review what's currently going on in the system in order to understand what should be tweaked, what should be changed, what should be adjusted. Okay, so you can see that the system and our skills just found out and explained to us what's the current flow for the borrower. So we have new manual approval approved after hard scoring, final approved declining. And I just wanted to understand what should be replaced and how it should be done. So basically asking us clarification questions in order to understand better our requirements. So yeah, let's take a look at that. Yeah, option A is way better in terms of my goals. So that's actually a really good suggestion. So in terms of to implement all of this, because right now system found out that the workflow is already connected to the system, and we have soft heat and hard heat. So in order to not replace this and not to turn off the actually existing hard heat with the connected workflow, it's just us to anyway have the workflow as a hard scoring to still auto run, like to collect all the necessarily data from the data sources, do all the necessary calculations according to this algorithm, and then actually provides this for the user's review and then the user can actually do the final approval of it and decline. So it just makes a lot of sense. Question number 2, no status field. What actions should I? Yeah, it's also a great suggestion. As we can see right now, there is no status on the container. So we do only have a status on the client. That's not most classical case, but this skeleton that we're building from is the basic assembly created specifically for the engineers and for Claude in order to start the project and start building our building platform. But if we talk about the real cases, like the real implementations, of course, they do have the statuses for the entire applications, as of the case when they do have the statuses for the borrowers and for the collateral. As I said previously on the parallelization point. So yeah, it does make sense to perhaps add the statuses to the application. Yeah, also option A sounds very reasonable to me. Good suggestions. Good suggestions. Question number 3. When the application is voided and the borrower gets declined, should the borrower be declinable regardless of their current status, even if the final approved? Yes, that's exactly the case I wanted to implement. The cascade declining procedure. Your application should decline status separate voided status. That is also a good question. No, in this case, perhaps it should be just declined. Okay, so now it invoked the specific skill that is providing us the design and actually the requirements of that the cloud will use themselves in order to build with our building blocks. So it provides what it will be doing and how it's planning to implement all of this. So it looks fine to me. So we are proving this and allowing Claude to go and to implement this scope. Okay, so now it will go and start building. Actually, yeah, so it's gonna add this as a specification because this is one of the skills. This specification later will be used as the quality assurance procedures basis. So after the actual implementation, it will take these requirements that you just formalized and test the feature against them. And it also will later on update all of the assembly documentation in order which processes do you have, what's the current, which states do we have, and so on and so forth. And of course, these requirements will be used later on. And right now, actually, I think it's already started building. No, it's not yet started building. It is right now exploring the building platform capabilities and all of the existing functionality on what's going to be the right way to implement this. What's going to be the most correct way to implement this. And yeah, it's just thinking about this. Okay, so the plan has been built. It doesn't understand what to do. It also already found out all of the necessary components on how to do this and how this should be allowed to be done, to be built. So yeah, ready to execute. Let's start building. Step agent. Yeah, it's also, of course, does have the capability of run the entire team of the agents to execute the development, the testing, and all of the other related things. All of this is part of the plugin. So our clients, they just take this plugin from our corporate GitHub and add them to their own cloud code. This cloud code, of course, should be better integrated into their IDAs where they are working with our building platform. And yeah, that's it. And then they can start building with it. Okay, now we are on the last step, last of the 5 tasks, that is actually testing, testing its own work on the completeness of the feature and on the completeness of actually implemented scope against the requirements. So let's wait a few more seconds, and then we'll also go and test it on our localhost application. Okay, Gate providing us all the information about the work that is done, and it also provides information that all of these applications, all the adjusted application are right now up and run on our local host. Let's also check if all of the documents has been updated. Okay. While him checking all the necessary documents, let's actually go and test this one. So we open up our local host, and we have applications right there. So okay, let's just create a new one. Okay, the application. Oh yeah, okay. So first of all, we're seeing right now that the actual action void is already added right there. So let's start from testing it. Let's click void. And okay, so both application and the client has been voided and the client respectively. Let's try then another test on the second approval process. Okay, we have approved. Okay, we will approve this guy. And right now we also have the second approval that is need to be done. Okay, that's also very nice. So actually it's implemented both of the features and both of the requests for the matter of how much? Like 6 or 7 minutes. So yeah, this is remarkable, I think. like 7 minutes to actually implement all of this and tested all of this. It's also good that all of these permissions automatically being added on the permissions and on the actions that can be customized. So you can see them right there. Approval, final declining, declining. Obviously, these two things have been existing right there before we added them. So just for the matter of less than 10 minutes, we were able to implement an extra step that if we will build some algorithm under the workflow, right now I think it's just blank, but if we will build a specific algorithm under the hard hit, so actually it can be soft hit, like initial soft check with the workflow. It can be then manual action for approval of, let's say, branch department, like the first line of the review. And if they approve this, the system will automatically launch the soft hit under the hood and then formalize the client profile and provide conditionally or unconditionally the final approval for, let's say, more senior position in order to do this. And then these permissions can be also distincted within the different roles. So we can have one role right now that will be only have permissions for initial approval or declining, and then we can have the other role that will have the permissions for final approval and final declining. So yeah, actually that's it. Actually, that's the first thing that I just wanted to show you in terms of what it can be done with our timveroAI plugin. And this is just the first step. We are evolving this feature. So the actual goal of this that is going to be not inside the IDA, mostly for professional engineers or product owners, but it will be actually available for everyone who's just launching our system. And this is going to be just conversational type setup process where by providing different requirements in the form of charts, PPMs, just plain description, and these conversations in terms of questions and answers, the system will allow our clients to just being customized with the help of this plain language by handling all of the requirements building process, actual development building process, quality assurance procedures, and just deliver that final rendered application on the already deployed server. So they can just take it and start working. Our vision is that it can be done. I think we are maybe like 6 months away from this in our basic assumptions. And here, of course, it's going to be just nice application for everyone, not necessarily the plugin inside the IDE environment. But as for now, this is what we have. This is what actually speed up, once again, the development of the customization process 10 times. So actually you can take these initial skeleton projects. We have a bunch of them. One of them that I used for this specific demo, it's called Risk Skeleton. It's actually the business process, like a few participants, a few actions, a few events. We also have more of them. We have with the documents, we have with the products, with the offers, with the servicing. So we have a bunch of them. Our engineers and our plots can take one of them, two of them, three of them, compose, combine, and actually run them into the final rendered application. Or, yeah, also it can be a mix of actual cloud work and development work. So yeah, all this in total right now enables the fast implementation and fast initial up and out of our system to be done in less than 1 week, actually working system to start your business. Let's just take a look on the final step. We asked Claude to check if all of the documentation has already been created and implemented. We've seen that, I think he found out that there were no documentation initial on this project. And it's good to see that it's actually created all the necessary files within it and also update them. And right now we can find all of these files under the AI docs. That is actually describing what's the current architecture of the system, which steps do we have, how it's done, what's the sequence, what's the conditions, what's the preconditions. So yeah, for any developer that can take it from this step, or for any product owner or business analyst that can actually take the application from this step and provide some extra requirements, or also provide the feasibility of what has been done, what the process is implemented in the current system, what the sequence, what the logic. Usually it takes hours and hours to find this out. In the case of our plugin in our system, all of this information is actually updated all the time and accessible for everyone within the organization based on their permissions. That's it. That's it for today. I'm gonna try to do this video more oftenly. I think we have way more things to show you. Really more than happy to dive deeper into each specific skill that this plugin composed of, like the requirement, the development, the AI docs, and so on and so forth. And yeah, please let's stay in touch. Subscribe on our channels, on our YouTube channels, on our blog, on our campaigns in the threads. So yeah, we'll be happy to continue this newly founded tradition of describing what do we have, how we build this, and yeah, also happy to answer any questions and happy to stay in touch. Have a good one. Bye.